All right, got a spoopy setup here today. We're gonna cover some more loose Game Boy cartridges. Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. I dug into the depths and managed to find some more. You just pick up these things along the way, and then some of them you just sort of like, I don't really want to get rid of them. But then again, because I'm always thinking like I'm gonna use something, I don't know, hoarder. But yeah, I don't think I went through everything I did before, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not gonna show stuff that I've covered, but maybe one will pop in there every now and then because I didn't rewatch. Whatever. Let's just start off. We covered this before though, going against what I just said, but this is the official Nintendo case. But I'm going to show you something else. Okay. Bubble Bobble. But look closely. What is strange about this Bubble Bobble? What has he got there? Maybe if I show you the back. This is not the Japanese version of Bubble Bobble. This is not a knockoff version of Bubble Bobble. This is the Chinese version of Bubble Bobble, when Nintendo officially licensed their stuff to be sold in China under their name, before it was changed to IQ in the late 90s with the N64. So here's my copy of Bubble Bobble for the Chinese. And this is what you traditionally get with your Game Boy games in America and Japan and China. But those in America, well, actually Europe as well, I can't really say. Shoot. I do have some, but I haven't checked. The American and the Japanese one will say, made in Japan on the back. And they'll say, no, that's official license. Whatever, Nintendo stamp. But the Chinese will say, see the Nintendo there? But then it also says made in China. Not that interesting, but still, I guess somewhat, to those collector-minded individuals. We've got the, as I'm like, there we go. But nonetheless, I actually do have some European only released Game Boy games, and like I said, I have to check them. I have some here. Let me just pause this for a second. Okay, I didn't dig too much. I didn't want to waste too much time, but if I find, I don't know. I'm not going to make another video just for the European. If there is a European that says like made in Germany or something like that, I don't know. But let's just get started with this one. Look at this. We got a 4-pack here. How interesting is this? I think I showed off the 3-pack last time, but look at this 4-pack, man. This is a chunky fellow here. Really, you have to carry around a big case to shove this in there. Here, I'll pop Eggmania. How about that? You can see with the game there. But what I like about this case, and I guess it's due to its chunkiness, it can actually afford you a little bit extra space for some amenities. Look at this. Amenities. I don't know what to call it. Features. Come on, open up. There we go. There's like a little tab here that like catches the lip of the game, and then you go boop. Come on. Whatever. It pops out. There's a little lever there. As I drop Eggmania. There's a little lever there. Let me get Eggmania for a moment. Then we've got these guys. Look at the Incredibles. Actually, I think I have the Elastic Girl as well. But these are very similar and most likely made by Mad Catz. I showed this off the last time, this Mad Catz case. And I told you the last time, and these will do it as well with this Mad Catz case. They're stackable. So if you look here, there's like these little holes on the top, and then these little protrusions, and so it allows you to stack them. I don't really know how useful that is because they need to snap. Hold on. Maybe I'll just do it on the bottom. I really don't know how useful this is. I mean, it's useful for keeping things in place. You know, basically you can just, they'll sit there. But when you want to get this guy, it's not, it's like a little bit of a problem. You have to unhatch, hook the top, unhook the bottom, pull it out, and then, you know, so I don't really like that. I like being able to freely just stack things. Here, I brought some of the ones I showed off last time. This one's made by Dream Gear. This one is an official licensed one. And you can stack these pretty easily. They don't have any indentations, so they slide around. But, you know, if you don't build a Leaning Tower of Pisa, it'll stay put. There are other ones that have like a little bit of a groove to them. But ones that look cool, but you probably want to avoid because they're basically modeled after the Game Boy Advance cartridge itself. There's a bump here, a lip, just very similar to the official, you know, the cartridge there, which prevents Game Boy Advance games from being stacked easily. Because if you look, well, as I say it, basically the back side will touch they'll touch each other, and then there'll be a slant. So, yeah, basically they're not going to stack very easily, like until you put them in a case like this that's just a rectangular prism. So, all right, let's move on to these guys. Pop some in there and make them look pretty. These, I believe, are made by Mory Toys. I don't know why they can't release stuff like this in the United States. Watch it. Click. Come on, click it. Click it. Click it. There we go. Clicked. That label's protected. And look at that shiny gold. I got two of these, actually. A blue and a clear one. I like these. They are stackable. They don't lock, but actually they do lock. What am I talking about? How is this locking? I'm trying to understand. Oh, okay. Okay, so if you look at this, there is a little pit in here. Okay, so the Game Boy Advance logo is raised, and now you can get a good idea. And then, so there's like this little dip on the top, and then on the bottom, there's a protrusion. So that's how they are stacking. I like this. This design is way better than any of the other ones that I've seen. So, and you can stack them like that. They're not going to fall. Hurricane, you know, proof. So yeah, that is really good. I like that. Let's move on to our final. Like I said, I dived. And while I can come up with some, I feel like I have more. But you know, I just like stuff is in all different places. Stuff that I'm not really using that often. So we got this one, which again I believe might be made by Mory Toys for Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. That stretched in that era, right? So let's pop a Game Boy Color game in here. Okay. I believe there's like two ways to align this, but I'm not, whatever. So, yeah, maybe it's that. Okay, there we go. So we got a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance. I'm going to pop in a Game Boy Generic, Game Boy Black and White. It will fit. You can only fit, I guess, one. So, it's a little card wallet, as the Japanese like to call them. So, very smooth, actually. I like that. There's like a very smooth feeling. I've seen this, this clear plastic, this plastic, this blue colored plastic. I've seen that in different colors, like pink. Here, let me pop the other ones in there, so you can get a good idea what would look like with the. Oh, really? I thought I could get one more in there. Oh well. there's like a weird way. Like there's a way you can, maybe I'm just imagining things because I don't really see any other way they can do it in here. But you can pop in them like this. Or maybe it's like that. Oh, that's what I'm not doing right. There we go. And then that one goes like that. So then you get 3. I kind of like this design much better than the more compact. Who makes that one? It's officially licensed in America. There's a stack of 3, and this is more bulky, I will admit. I just like the feel of it, man. Like you can slip this in, pull it out. I guess, you know what? It's not really gonna be a huge deal breaker in my opinion. You know which one you get, but it has both logos on there. That's kind of cool. So, anyways, that is a look at some more Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. Be on the lookout for Chinese cartridges, and their the backs, if it says made in Japan, it is not for the Chinese cartridge. But you know what? I don't know. It could have been like, if you do find like a Chinese cartridge with the made in Japan clamshell, I wouldn't even take it that hard on the seller. I don't even really know in terms of like manufacture and everything. Maybe they were shipping things from Japan and then just putting all the packages together, and some of the Chinese stuff got packaged with the Japanese clamshells. No clue. This is you know, I didn't grow up in China, so I don't really know. I've never opened a brand new Game Boy game, but anyways, it is something to note if you're not familiar with that stuff. So